Epstein with your SPDR ETF wrap-up, and this is for Monday, the 15th of August, 2022, and boy, what a day. But before we get further, I apologize for not putting out on YouTube weekend editions. Went to the doctor's Friday. I had broken stitches in the mouth from talking and putting out the updates. Now they don't want to restitch it. They just said it'll heal naturally. And they claim this week I'll be fine, but they didn't want me to do too much over the weekend, so I elected not to do that in the term of talking. And I've got to pay attention at some point. You didn't miss much. Where are we? Well, it's August 15th. Gee, we'll be ending the summer for all purposes in 2 more weeks. Yeah, I know what the calendar says, but you understand what I'm saying. The kids will go back to school. Labor Day will be out of the way very shortly. And then we're back into business. People will be returning in Europe from the beaches, be it Portofino, Bella, wherever they go. Returning, the trading gets more serious. That's the first thing. During this 2-week period, we're also trading very light. What else? We're ending right now this week, probably, I think it ends all this week, the reporting of the other quarter earnings. Now, retail, a lot of it this week. Lowe's, Home Depot, Walmart, you get everybody this week. I heard on Bloomberg this morning, as they were doing the review, that 90% of the time during earnings week, the markets go up. I didn't know that. Okay, I've never done the statistic, but it's an interesting one. Okay, I would think that there's questions to that, but I'll accept it. What else do we have? If you were to tell me that we'd get Chinese economic numbers, a disaster as they came in today, every sector, a disaster. What if I tell you that youth, young people in China of working age, what percentage of them are unemployed? 19.9%. 19.9%. These are like old European numbers during the big recession. Remember, people couldn't get a job? Unbelievable. If you were to tell me that instead of their 5% growth, they'll be lucky to be 3.5 or so, that would be a shock to the market. I think you'd agree. And what that did is markets that relied on demand, such as energy prices and copper, fell sharply on it. But you would think that would have carried over, that, hey, if they're no good, all the trade can go sour, what's going on through there? No, the U.S. stock indices, they shrugged it off. They also looked at the New York Fed numbers, the region there, and I looked at manufacturing, everything going on. They shrugged that off. It was a disaster, one of the worst reports I've ever seen in the region. So what's going on? Well, the market wants to finish its upside. This is a rally that began in June. It's a summertime rally, and it's a son of a bitch. The lines are drawn, the battleground lines. The economists that think, as I am in that camp, that this is a bear market rally, a son of a gun one, but a bear market rally because the Fed is not going to let go of raising interest rates till they beat inflation. That's my comment. Now, the other argument is, yes, Ira, you're right, the Fed is going to stay and do that. However, Ira, what will happen is, on its own, inflation is going to come down because everybody's economies, including that of the U.S., are weakening, and the demand for goods and services is going to fall to the point where it'll go crashing down through the 6%, the 5%, and get into a zone where the Fed doesn't have to be as aggressive, can stay there at quarter-point hikes, whatever they're going to do, and get comfortable very soon that the trajectory to the downside in inflation is locked in. You can read to your blue in the face, the Wall Street Journal, all the different websites. You can watch TV. I have just given you, in 10, 15 seconds, the synopsis of what it is. That's where you're at, and those are the 2 battlegrounds. We will find which one is right. Everybody has a reason for being in them. Some people look at history, Ardini and the people. I think today Ronnie was there, and he's another one that has joined into the bear choir. I'm comfortable with what I'm saying. I want to be wrong. I don't want there to be a hard landing. It's so much easier if there isn't, all right? And, we see the curve yield, what it's doing. We see the back end of notes and bonds coming down hard. You're under 2.8. Come on, in the 10-year. You're not 3.25, 3.5 anymore. These are livable numbers, right? But why is it there? And why is the front end trading at 40 to 43 over? It got as high as 47. Some think it's going to 80 over. I'm talking the 2-10-year. Got to be careful what this all means. But you don't fight the tape. Last week I wrote a report. Do you know one of my jobs when I began was filling the tape machine? Remember the old tickers? We had in the office a box. It wasn't one of those beautiful glass bowls. It was a box, and you'd have this white roll of paper this thick, and it would have a carbon, a ribbon, just like a typewriter, and it would type all the prices, and you'd be sitting there going through them. What is the price? And then later on, we had the clacker boards. For those of you who've been around, they would flip-flop, and you see them in the old movies as to what they're doing. Then the computer came about. Oh my gosh, that changed things. Then LED lights, diode lights on the floors of the exchanges to where you're at today. But the saying, don't fight the tape, I was still there, working in the industry. I just got a job, and one of them in the office, I was the low guy. Hey, the tape's out, got to put it in, it starts spitting everything out. And guys would sit there poring over it, looking at the tape, trying to get a feel for what the market is. Fascinating. All right. I'll finish with Freeport tomorrow. I'll probably move to another one of these, but it's interesting today. Freeport slipping back. The market still has the pattern of higher lows, higher highs. It got caught between the 45-day moving average and the 18-day average of closes, along with the Bollinger Band. Remember the Bollinger Band. Please don't not learn how to work with this. One of the most important tools you'll ever have. 95% of the time, the markets will pause as a minimum when it hits a Bollinger Band. You'll see that. It will stay within the bands 95% of the time, but you go in and you do your work. You'll see a bit of a pause. You'll see the bit of a pause. That's my point. It's a sign. Now, what do you do next? I teach you what to do next in my enhanced Bollinger Band course on our website at iraepstein.com, under education, by the way. But that's all I'm looking for. This market's got a problem here. It hasn't turned bearish. Even if you take out this break low, you have a higher high, lower low. Momentum is overbought. So the combination of momentum overbought and you hit that upper band, what do? Oh, the word is called liquidation. It's hard to believe, yeah. I realize everybody wants to buy and hold forever. It's not what trading is about. That's what investing might be about. You might as well just buy something on these breaks and just own it. Be Warren Buffett. Nothing wrong with that. You don't hear me saying there's a thing wrong with it. But forget this show that you're watching. It makes no sense then. Because I am looking for spots where you come in, can come out and go on to something else possibly. AMC. Well, you're coming to the death node in this. What the heck am I saying? I'm telling you, this is where the cash money's all made. They've got to get some better movies out. Nope is the big movie right now. Maybe a kid's movie or two, but they're not there. And you can see how you've stalled. There's 27 areas a problem. We've been here before. We've been in the 35 area. But what do you do when you don't have any movies coming in and the concession stands go like this as we approach September? And that means families, only on the weekends are they coming back. Can't take the kids during the week. You're not taking that summer break. And they get very, very quiet. I know it. I ran one, owned one. Apple. Okay. We are at another zone where you have to make up your mind. How much is in the market and how rich is the stock at $173? You're at a zone that is very rich. How many times earnings is it going to be? If it can hold here and move higher, it's probably going towards 200. This is a zone you've got to be careful of. That's all that I'm saying. The trend is most certainly up. The bias is up. It's embedded. Just beware of what I'm telling you. This market is built in that the Apple phone is going to sell, that people aren't going to be price conscious? I don't know. I don't know. I know I'm buying the phone. I go on the plans anyways, don't you? You know, you can either pay cash, so it's $60, $70 a month, whatever it is, $50, whatever the time frame they give you. That's what people will look at. Disney, today one of the activists stepped in and bought $1 billion worth of shares, drove the stock up. It was up earlier, 3.6%, finished up nice. But between here and the 200-day average, it's going to have big problems. They want them to spin off parts of the ESPN network. XLF, you're too many days over the upper Bollinger Band. You only stay over it 5% of the time. This is an accident waiting to happen. You own it. I want no part of it over a Bollinger Band, period. There's no circumstance. XLI, embedded reading. How many embedded readings do we have? It's one chart after the other. When they correct in a nasty manner when this happens. That's all I can tell you. It's not a crash. It's just they let go, and all of a sudden you're back down to the key moving averages before you know what's going on. The semiconductors are overbought. I predict you'll have massive trouble between the upper band and the 200-day average. And when I say massive trouble, that is not a sell signal. It's a signal not to be long. Huge difference between the two. Home builders. All I get is bad news, and the stock's up. Unbelievable. Overbought. Will it embed? Well, it takes 3 sessions to be embedded with both numbers over the 80 level. Not there. First session is here, and that was Friday. Second session, tomorrow's the possibility. I'm looking for a major top between right here and the 200-day average for a correction to set in. So the 200-day average, markets that are right now where it's above the market, I'm looking for a problem, and I'm looking for support on breaks at it when it's hit. GLD, same thing. I don't think you're necessarily getting up there. You might pull back to the 18-day average first. You did not lose your bullishness. You're going to lose it on the opener. The futures are down about $3, means this would in theory open lower, and the way the math is going, you probably just get under the 80 level when you open. Now, if we turn around and the futures are higher tonight, then that's different. But on the close, you did not lose your embedded reading. It is still bullish. GDX, just overbought into an upper band. What do I teach you here? Why hang around? You honestly think an overbought over the Bollinger Band is going to keep going up? Maybe we should bet on the side. Copper, same thing, but it's bullish. Why? Well, follow me. How many days do we have over 80? So, on this day, both numbers are over 80. Both over 80 on Friday. That's day 2. Day 3. Now, if you lose it, okay, then you're going back to the 18-day average. If it holds in here, then the upper Bollinger Band's a potential target again. AGG just hanging here at the combination of the 100-day and the 18, void of a trend. UUP, so this is the dollar index coming up with the momentum. Did that dollar index have a tear today? Once you saw those Chinese numbers, all currencies fell apart. How many of them do business and count on China to do something reciprocal, and China's business model is killing them? What's the business model there? Why, it's zero policy COVID. It's got to be their model. They shut down industries left and right. You think that works? Do they think it works? How does President Xi save face? That's really what this is about. That policy doesn't work. I don't know if his own cabinet is scared to tell him the numbers, or if he sees it. Maybe they're petrified. They don't have their own vaccine that'll work. I wrote tonight about that. If they have a vaccine that works, it's China. You take that city block that you've cornered them all and they can't even go out for food, and you tell everybody with the megaphone, you're coming down to get a shot. Folks, that's China. Who are you going to argue with? Population would come down, the vaccine works. Why are you shutting anything down? You're shutting it down because the vaccine apparently doesn't work well enough to do what I'm talking about. They'd rather let the people that aren't vaccinated all get sick in an area and hope that they can get then herd immunity. Okay, that works real well. That's why their numbers, their GDP is in a state of collapse. That is it. They keep shutting down their industries. What happens in the fall? We're supposed to get another round of variants. By the way, the UK has come out with a combination, Omicron and the original COVID. One shot, you get the dosage for both. Pretty impressive, if you ask me. Will China take that? Of course not. It's a Western medicine. Higher high, maybe a lower low coming there. So you're at that funny point in the markets where over the next week, you end the earnings. The market will then start talking, what are earnings going to be 3 months from now, obviously? And that's what we have to worry about. If there's this slowdown like you're seeing in New York, in other areas of the country, how can earnings be good? Just the point, and I realize the stock market keeps going. I'm questioning it. I'm sure some of you will write me and tell me the answer, and I mean that. I don't mean it in a negative manner. I can't figure it out. But while I can't figure things out, there are things that I want you to take a look at, and I missed it. Sorry about that. And that's in the morning. I put out my ETF video for you. I'd like you to take a look. How do you get this? Well, go to our website. Oh, you don't know how to get there? Just follow my finger. Move it up here, and a cursor will appear up there. And when you do that, just give it a click. It'll take you right into our research area. Take a look at the ETF area. I'm Ira Epstein. I will see you all tomorrow. Have a great day.